Welcome back to the Retro Sports Gamer channel. Mort here. I'm finishing up the series I did on Playbooks, and we're going over Elite Safeties, as this is the last position to go over. There are not too many teams with an Elite Safety. The most prominent examples of this are San Francisco, another team that's very prominent, Minnesota and Cincinnati, also the Jets, another team, Phoenix to a degree, Minnesota to a degree. These are the top level, and there actually aren't as many as people might think. There's Detroit has one who's average, but the actual elite guys are pretty limited. The above average guys are also pretty good, but you need to know how to take a very good safety and go against them. So this is what I developed. It's called the Motion Playbook, and I'm actually being both teams to demonstrate this, so we'll do the first motion run, and I'll be Fulcher. And I'm just going to have Fulcher stand still. You see that blocker? He was going for Fulcher. Depending on how much isolation I get, I'm going to try it again, and this time I'll try to do both at the same time. Say I was moving up. No, stop. Let's see, I gotta move up and in. Just a moment. This is hard. Oops. Let's move. I'm gonna run up, and I'm gonna move in with him. See that guy that just crashed in? He was actually gonna go for Fulcher, and there's ways to set him up. Let's do the first run. And it's really hard to do this because I can't do it in coach mode. I need the computer to go, say you're going like this, and then boom. Now I just have to set that up, and that could take you out of the play. Especially if I could get isolation, like one-on-one. Oops, play. So, play. Let's do it again. Them pick a pass, and me pick a run. Alright. So again, I'm going to call the play. And there's a lot of danger zones. I haven't even moved at all. And if you're not careful, you literally could just stand still. As I just showed you. Let's try it with the up play. And this time, take Fulcher. I recognize the play. Got to see that guy there was following me. Up the middle run will be next. And this is one of the ideals I developed to set up your blocking. Oops, wrong play. To just set up your blocking to deal with it. Now, it's not easy to do, and also try to keep track of which controller is which is being a pain. Alright, so, okay, that's the controller. I'm going to run in, and I'm just going to stand still. Now, eventually, I'm purposely running into him to show you, but if I make a couple jukes and you guess, next thing you know, that blocker's on you. And depending on how good you're setting up this playbook, you could literally at any time get a blocker to be falling around the great defensive back. Alright, let me hit the reset button and go over the other idea. So, next note I want to mention is, there's not much of a need to go over teams with an elite middle linebacker, like, say, Mike Singletary. It's because a lot of plays just take out these guys, or if they're here. And the defensive line, there's a lot of natural blocking, and they're not used as often. Designing most plays work against them. So now, if you're not really interested in the motion offense, the other ideal you can take is to go with the offset playbook, and you get some blocking on this play. Sometimes this up the middle run can be tricky for the safety. And plus with run 2, you can mix it around. But either way is you want to have some type of unique strategy, especially for 3 teams. The Jets, Minnesota, and Cincinnati. because those three teams' defense is based off of this very powerful safety, and you want to try to get people away from being that player or take advantage of it. If they want to try to use that player against you, you need to have options. Now, the better advantage of this option is you get better pass plays to try to exploit them. Like, this is a very good play, and this is a very good play. Just because I don't use them and I'm not great at them doesn't mean they're not good plays. And it can be a very tricky playbook to set up to go after somebody, say, like that. Anyways, this is just one thing I was considering for you guys is you have two options. So the teams I want you to watch out for: Minnesota, Cincinnati, and the Jets. Also, Phoenix these are the above average guys: Tim McDonald, Lonnie Young. Next up, we have another above average safety here in William White. The Bears as well have speed wise is above average, interceptions wise amazing, but can be exploited in a lot of matchups with fast running backs. Let's see, moving on. Rams have a below an average guy. San Francisco has two great guys, but come on, are you really going to give someone San Francisco? Let's go. Let's go. Philly has the worst safeties possible. The Giants have an okay safety, but there's a lot of passing, so Greg Jackson may not get used as much. We went over the Jets. Miami, they have two above-average safeties. Very good players, and if you could take them out of the game with that, it would be really helpful for your game. Cleveland, Pittsburgh and Washington. Pittsburgh has a decent one. People just don't think much about using Carnell Lake, but he has some pretty good stats there. I use him a lot as Pittsburgh. Denver's safeties are good for run contain, so these guys are both fast, so this strategy can work on them. Raiders, same way. They have Eddie Anderson. He's very elite for speed, so taking him out is another option. So those are some teams you should also be thinking about, besides those primary teams of Cincinnati, Minnesota, and the Jets. All right, so that concludes my series. We went over how to deal with LB4, LB1, DB1, DB2, and the safeties. We didn't really go over the inside linebackers and the defensive linemen because the offensive line naturally takes care of them. And that gives you an idea of some playbook options when you're going up against a certain team and you want to say, well, I want to take advantage of your defenders and who I think you're going to be. Just keep in mind what I said each video. Just because you go through this game plan and it makes sense for that doesn't mean the other person is going to be that player. And also, sometimes guys are good enough where they're patient enough and they just get the job done anyways. But, I mean, I'd rather have a playbook that gives me an advantage in some matchups here and there if I feel I need it. And especially when I don't do it as much anymore, but I used to do it a lot more before I came up with the motion playbook, which I find to be pretty universal. But I definitely say if you feel like this is going to help you, switch up your playbooks, learn all these playbooks, and have a plan for each team. Anyways, thanks guys for checking out the Retro Sports Gamer channel. Check out my Tecmo 101 channel on YouTube for more great information on how to improve at Tecmo Super Bowl. All have a good day. Stay safe out there.